A big hello to everyone. We're very lucky to have Lena Durhali back. She's a psychotherapist whose work has been included in Oprah magazine and the Washington Post, among other publications. She's also written a best-selling book. And how are you doing today, Lena?
I'm doing well. How about you, Nadia?
I'm good. I'm good. So the question that's on my mind today, Lina, is how do you differentiate between someone being blunt and verbally abusive?
Yeah, so, we all want people in our life who are honest with us. And, we don't want everybody around us just telling us what we want to hear. However, there's going to be people in our lives where we feel like what they're saying to us is not kind or appropriate and might be very harsh. And so, somebody who cares about us and our well-being is going to tell us the truth, but they're going to say it in a way that's not hurtful or harmful to our self-esteem. So
Mhm.
just to give you an example of, if somebody says, "Do you like this dress I'm wearing?" An honest way to say that's kind might be like, maybe I would try a different dress. It's not my favorite on you, kind of thing. Now, a person who's verbally abusive will say things that are incredibly critical, mean, often designed to be hurtful.
Mhm.
And so that will look like, no, you look fat, or your legs look fat, or, that's, you look awful, things like that. And a person who, sometimes that person, like everybody will know who this person is. Everybody knows who that person with, they call them no filter or blunt. And there are some people with no filter who aren't cruel. And, they just sort of say what's on their mind. But then there's this type of person that's not only blunt with no filter, but they say really cruel things. And the way you recognize them is, again, they make comments. Nobody should ever make a comment about your body type. Nobody should be critical about, especially women, about other women, about appearances and things of that nature, or saying things that are just really meant to hurt someone and lower their self-esteem. And so we want to try to avoid those type of people, because those are usually what I call verbally abusive people, and they always do it. And whenever, and this is going to tie into our other video about gaslighting, whenever you might call them on it or say, I really didn't appreciate you saying that my legs looked fat, for example, that person will often gaslight you and say, "Oh, you're too sensitive," or, that's just how I am. I just have no filter. And so ultimately what that means is that they're telling you that you have to constantly accept this criticism and the abuse. And what this does to people, especially to people who have dealt with this in their childhoods or prolonged throughout their life, they start to think that this behavior is normal and this is how people should talk to them. And it's not. And so purpose of this video is trying to tell people that somebody speaking to you in those ways is not okay, and that you do not deserve to be talked to in that way. And that person might normalize it for you or make you think that you're the crazy one for being upset about it, but it's not you, it's them.
Yeah, well, it's good to know because I think we've all been there. And what do you think? And who are the enablers in this kind of a situation?
Yes, the enablers. So again, when we're talking about sort of this one person who a lot of people can identify, either, the person with no filter, or they're just blunt, or they're a straight shooter, or whatever it is, those people are also enabling the bad behavior and are also gaslighting in a certain way by telling the person who is the victim in this situation, or the person who is being criticized, that something is wrong with them for having a hurt reaction over something like that. So they might say, "Oh, you should get a thicker skin," or something like that. But ultimately, you are the company you keep. And so people around that accept that kind of behavior and make excuses for it, or tell you to not worry about it, or that you need to develop a thicker skin, are also people you generally want to avoid. And there are ways to have a thick skin and be resilient and be tough without having to accept uh, harsh criticism and verbal abuse. There's a way to, and actually, I think that's a stronger person, as one who says, you know what, I'm not going to tolerate you speaking to me like that. I'm not going to tolerate you speaking to other people like that. There are better ways to get your point across than maligning someone, making somebody feel bad about themselves when it's totally unnecessary to do that.
No, I totally understand. And I think a fair person, if you come, for example, Lena, if I told you you hurt my feelings, I'm sure that you would not feel good about it. You would probably apologize rather, or try to understand why you hurt my feelings than just simply dismiss it.
Yeah, I mean, I know I would feel very bad if you told me that, and I definitely want to find out why and try to repair that for sure. And I know you would as well. And I know that when we speak to each other, that we don't have, again, we don't have to say things to each other that are just mean spirited. And I think, you know, getting away from that type of culture, of mean spirited culture, and saying, well, that's just life, is something that we need to get away from. Instead, we can have honesty without mean spirited dialogue.
Absolutely, I agree. Well, thank you once again for the wonderful information, and we're hoping to see you again soon. But for the time being, hope you have a wonderful rest of the day, and
Thank
a
you.
bye, and a bye for now.
Thanks, Nadia. See you next time.